Tonight we descend into obsidian shadow, into the great stone heart of Tenochtitlan, where the sun bleeds to stay alive, and your own heart is the payment. Forget what you learned in school. Forget the sanitized myths. This is not about feathers and pyramids. This is about what it really meant to be chosen as a human sacrifice in the Aztec world. It wasn't a quick ritual, it wasn't clean, and you wouldn't survive it, not just because you'd die, but because everything about who you are would be peeled away first. Congratulations. You've just been captured by the Mexica, the Aztecs. You don't speak the language. You don't know where you are. You were taken during a flower war, a kind of ritualized battle fought not to kill, but to capture. The Aztecs didn't want corpses. They wanted offerings. And now, you are one. They drag you back to Tenochtitlan, through streets lined with canals and stone temples, surrounded by crowds. Children throw flower petals. Old women watch silently. You're marched up the causeway into the heart of the city. You think this is the end. It's not. This is the beginning. Tenochtitlan is not a city. It is a universe. Floating on Lake Texcoco, connected by causeways, its streets bustle with life. Canoes drift past reed-roofed homes. Merchants hawk cacao, turquoise, obsidian, and dried chilies in the market at Tlatelolco. Everything here is purposeful, sacred, and now you are part of it. You are placed in a small, windowless building, more shrine than prison. There's no chains. You're not locked in. You don't try to escape. You don't dare, because every night they come to prepare you. First, they bathe you in sacred water, drawn from Calcutlecue's wells. They cut your hair with obsidian knives, carefully, reverently. They burn incense at your feet. They chant. They sing. They call you a god. Not metaphorically, literally. You are an Ixiptla, a living avatar of a deity. From this moment on, you are not you. You are Tezcatlipoca, or Zyptotec, or Tlaloc, and that's the most terrifying part, because gods must die. You're dressed in elaborate robes made of feathers and gold and jade. Your face is painted with divine symbols. You're paraded through the streets. People cheer. They offer tamales and honey water. Children follow you in awe. Some weep, some laugh. You try to speak, but they hush you. Gods don't speak with mortal voices. At night, you sleep in a cold stone chamber, under blankets dyed with cochineal red, the color of blood. You dream of your home, your family, your name. But in the Aztec world, you don't exist anymore. Each day, more rituals, more chanting, more ceremonies, dances, feasts in your honor. Not because they love you, because you are fuel. The sun demands blood. Without it, the world ends. You are not a person. You are a promise. There are trials, ceremonies where you must dance until collapse, times you must fast, or speak prayers in Nahuatl until your throat bleeds. A festival might demand your tears be collected. You must learn to cry, on command. Your suffering is sacred. In some months, children are sacrificed instead, chosen for their purity. And their tears, they say, bring the rain. The priests do everything to make them weep. You've seen them, tiny bodies wrapped in white, offered to Tlaloc on misty mountaintops. Their cries are part of the ritual. So are yours. You've watched it, you've heard it, and you know, deep down, you are next. Continued in Part 2, the final ritual, the pyramid, the afterlife. Part 2, the final ritual, the pyramid, the afterlife. You will ascend, but not to escape. You will ascend to vanish. The sun rises slowly on the day of your death. It peers over Lake Texcoco like an eye. Not benevolent, not cruel, just watching. You are bathed again, this time not to cleanse, but to consecrate. A priest chants your new name, not your birth name. That's been gone for weeks now. He calls you Tezcatlipoca. You are the smoking mirror. You are the reflection that reveals truth, even if it destroys. You are trembling. But gods don't tremble, so they bind your hands to keep you still. You are led outside. The people are already waiting, thousands of them. Some are quiet, some are singing, some are praying that your death will keep the sun alive one more day. Some pray it will bring the rain, or heal their children, or grant them victory in war. You walk past them, barefoot. You step over petals, bloodstains, broken corn husks. The stone beneath your feet is still warm from yesterday's sun and yesterday's blood. And then you see it, the pyramid, the Templo Mayor. You always knew it would end here. The stairs look endless. They are steep by design. Every step is a climb toward the gods, and a reminder you don't get to come back down. You ascend slowly. Every muscle burns, but there are no breaks, no water, no mercy. At the top, the sky, and 5 men in white, the priests. Their eyes are lined with black, their hands are steady. They greet you not like a victim, but like a vessel. There is no screaming, not here, not now. You are laid on a stone slab, your spine arched back over the curve of the altar. You can see the sky. It is blinding, it is blue. It is the last color you will ever see. Then, obsidian, a knife sharper than any metal. And the priest, who has done this 100 times, makes no mistakes. One strike, one movement, one heartbeat, and your chest is open to the sun. Your heart is lifted high, still beating, offered to Tonatia, the sun god. It steams in the morning air. The crowd below erupts in chants, flutes, drums, not mourning, celebration. The sacrifice was accepted. You are thrown down the steps. Your body rolls, not like a god, not like a king, just flesh now. It will be buried, or burned, or skinned if you are Totec's vessel. Sometimes your skin is worn by a priest for days, but your story is not over. Because in the Aztec world, death is not an end. It's just a relocation. If you died in battle, or as a sacrifice, you rise with the sun. You travel with it across the sky. You sing with the hummingbirds. You drink the blood of flowers. You are divine now, forever. They will remember your name, not the one you were born with, but the one you died for. The sun sets on Tenochtitlan. Another day has been paid for. Another god has died. Another heart has been consumed. Tomorrow the drums will sound again. Part 3. The ones who watched you die. The world doesn't stop for blood. It keeps sweeping. The heart was lifted, the body discarded, and the crowd went home. No one screamed, no one wept, no one protested. Because in Tenochtitlan, death was a part of the architecture. It was built into the walls, etched into the glyphs, whispered through the canals and stirred into the masa. And the ones who watched you die, they had chores to do. In a home near the causeway, a woman sprinkles lime onto corn kernels. She doesn't talk about the sacrifice. She was there, she saw it. She's seen hundreds. She remembers her brother being chosen once. He came home different, quieter. He stopped looking people in the eye. Eventually, he stopped speaking at all. She saw him again at the top of the pyramid, years later. Painted in gold, dressed in feathers. He didn't look at her. She never expected him to. In another district, a group of children play with spinning tops carved from bone. They chatter in Nahuatl, mimicking priests. One lies down on a rock and pretends to scream. The others laugh. They don't understand it yet. They're too young. They think it's a game. Their mothers call them inside. By the canal, an old man repairs his fishing net. He hums a song from before the empire. He's seen emperors crowned and sacrificed. He's seen lakes rise and dry. He's seen gods come and go. He doesn't look at the pyramid. He doesn't need to. He's memorized its silhouette. He knows the exact rhythm the drums beat when a heart is lifted. He knows how many steps a body bounces before it stops. He knows, At the tianguis, the marketplace, life pulses forward. Women trade chilies for cacao. Artisans haggle over obsidian blades. A nobleman examines a tunic dyed with rare shellfish purple. There's music in the air, rattles, drums, flute. No one mentions the sacrifice, not directly. But it's in the air. It's in the way the merchant touches the amaranth cakes like they're offerings. It's in the way a farmer eyes the sky, watching for clouds, hoping the blood was enough. Farther down, near the Templo Mayor, a novice priest sweeps blood off the steps. He's young, his hands tremble. This is his first week. He thought it would feel different, holier, bigger. But it's just work, grime and flies. Blood dries quickly in the sun, but not on stone. The senior priest walks past without glancing down. He's already preparing for the next ceremony. There's always another. And still, the city moves. A woman weaves on a backstrap loom. The threads cross over each other, quiet as breath. A man grinds maize. His hands are blistered. His eyes are distant. A girl lights incense before a small household shrine. She prays not for safety, but for worthiness. That her blood, if taken, would mean something. And somewhere tucked into the edges of the city, someone dreams about the sacrifice they just witnessed. They dream of the stone slab, the knife, the sun. They wake up, heart pounding. Then they get dressed, they go to the market, they sweep the floor, because even here, especially here, life never stops. In the Mexica world, sacrifice was not a spectacle. It was currency. It was duty. It was time. You paid it, or someone else paid it for you. And then the sun rose again. There are no monuments to the sacrificed, no plaques, no names, but their blood is in the canals. Their breath is in the wind that blows from the lake. Their memory lives only in rhythm, in drums, in chants, in shadows. And the ones who watched them die, they remember everything, even if they never speak of it. Part 4, the priests, keepers of the knife. They did not choose the blade chose them. Before the knife, there was silence. Before the chants, the drums, the crowds, and the blood. There was only a boy, kneeling before stone steps, head bowed low, back raw from lashes, throat hoarse from prayers. This is how a Mexica priest begins. Not with power, but with surrender. You were chosen young, maybe 8, maybe 10. Not because you were the strongest, not because you were the brightest. You were quiet, too quiet. You watched instead of spoke. You didn't flinch at blood. You asked questions that made the elders pause. And that was enough. They brought you to the Kalmakak, the priest's school, the place where nobility sent their sons to become more than soldiers, to become memory, to become instruments. Your first lessons had no words. You learned how to sweep, not because the temple needed it, but because the gods demanded it. You learned how to hold still for hours, even when your legs went numb. You learned to wake before dawn, eat nothing, and offer your hunger to Tlaloc. You learned the names of every god and goddess, every spirit, every star. And then you learned their appetites. Obsidian is not like other blades. It's older, sharper. It cuts through flesh like fruit, but it demands precision. So you practiced. On fruit, on animals, on yourself. Every nick, every drop of your own blood was a lesson. Not in violence, but in devotion. Years passed. You shaved your head, painted your face, removed your name. They called you Tlamakasqui now, giver of things. But you knew better. You were the one who took. You weren't alone. There were others, older, quieter, priests who had not spoken in years, men who bled themselves daily with maguey thorns, men who carried the scent of copal and death in their robes. You studied under them. One taught you how to chant until your voice became wind. Another taught you how to read omens in bird guts and cloud shapes. Another taught you how to stand before a screaming man and see only a vessel, never a person. That was the hardest part. You learned the rhythm of the knife, not how to kill, but how to offer. The gods do not want chaos. They want choreography. Your hands must not tremble. Your blade must not hesitate. Your mind must not wander. Because the moment you falter, the moment the cut is too deep, or too shallow, or off-center, you dishonor the gods. You risk famine. You risk plague. You risk the sun itself refusing to rise. Some nights, after a ceremony, you cannot sleep. You lie beneath stone ceilings, watching moonlight pool like milk across the floor. You remember the eyes, not of the crowd, not of the emperor, not even of the sacrificed. You remember the eyes of the children, the ones who didn't scream, the ones who did, the ones who were told their tears would bring the rain. And sometimes it rains, and sometimes it doesn't. People fear you, they respect you, they never touch you. You walk through the city like a shadow. Merchants step aside, children bow. Even the Tlatoani, the emperor, looks you in the eye with caution. Because you, Tlamakasqui, can speak to the gods. And more dangerously, you can speak for them. But you are not holy, you are not untouchable. You are just tired. You sleep on straw. You fast for weeks. You bleed from places that never heal. There is no wife, no family, only brothers in black robes, and the gods, who never speak back. You do not remember the first time you opened a chest, but you remember the warmth, the pulse, the way the heart jumped in your hand, as if it, too, knew it was being offered to the sky. They tell you that heart still beats in Tonatia's palm, that your hands keep the world alive. But sometimes, you wonder. Sometimes, after the crowd disperses, and you're left alone with the stone, you wonder if the gods are even listening. Still, tomorrow you will rise. You will purify yourself with water drawn from the sacred pool. You will chant. You will wait. And when the drums call again, you will climb the pyramid, obsidian in hand. Not because you want to, not because you believe, but because the world still turns, and someone must pay for that. The ceremony ends. The incense fades. The drums fall silent. The steps of the pyramid grow cold again. And life, quiet, relentless life, resumes. Children laugh in alleyways. Farmers bend over shinampas. A woman grinds maize without looking up. But in the stone, the memory remains. Not of glory, not of cruelty, not even of death, but of belief. That every cut, every chant, every trembling heart torn from flesh wasn't just brutality, it was balance. Because in the Aztec world, you didn't just live for yourself, you lived for the gods. And when your time came, you died for them too. So when you look at the ruins, the broken pyramids and silent courtyards, remember these weren't just monuments. They were altars, they were clocks, they were promises, and they were paid for. Heartbeat by heartbeat. Sleep now. The gods are full. The sun will rise tomorrow, because someone gave everything to make sure it would.